It's 8 p.m. right now on Denver7 News on Local 3.
We could see in the trees up there this big 8 to 10 foot tall mass rolling towards the river.
Fast-moving flash floods leave behind a path of destruction and takes at least one life in Larimer County.
One of the neighbors came by and said, you know, there's a flood warning. You might want to think about leaving.
And tonight, rain is causing more issues across several burn scars.
Still a very active radar tonight. Which areas are going to see heavy rain?
Colorado DACA recipients worry what the future holds after a recent federal court ruling.
You know, you don't know if you're going to be still going to school. You don't know if you're going to, still have that permit.
Plus, a Colorado family says they were targeted and accused of human trafficking because of the color of their skin.
I feel bad. I don't know. Knowing that you might have to go through that a lot.
Good Tuesday evening, and thank you for watching Denver7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter. Tonight, areas of our state that were once ravaged by wildfire are now under attack by flash flooding. Heavy rains have been falling in the Cameron Peak and East Troublesome Fire burn scars. This is new video in at 8, and you can see our roof completely mangled and trees piled up all over the ground. Tonight, Larimer County officials say one woman was killed, another 3 people are still missing. And tonight, the radar is still very active. The biggest threat right now is through the East Troublesome burn area and the Spring Fire burn area in southern Colorado. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is tracking the latest on the storms, but we start with CB Cotton live along the POUDRE River in Larimer County. CB?
Jessica, people who call this area home tell me they're devastated that another tragedy has struck the POUDRE Canyon community. Last summer, it was the Cameron Peak fire, and now it's this. If you take a look behind me, the POUDRE River is dark today from all of that sediment and debris from that mudslide that happened less than a mile from here. We know it happened near Black Hollow Road, dumping piles of tree limbs and logs and entire homes into the river. We even saw someone's car that had been moved downstream. As we've said, tragically, one woman has died and 3 people remain unaccounted for. We spoke with several witnesses talk about this force of nature. Take a listen.
We could see in the trees up there this big 8 to 10 foot tall mass rolling towards the river. A lot of sludge, a lot of huge boulders, logs. When that hit the cabins, there's 3 cabins right along here, they didn't even slow it down. It just pushed them in the river.
I got up to look out the door, and my power pole is just waving back and forth. And I looked down, and there's about this much mud going by my door and taking everything that's on our patio along with it.
The Larimer County Sheriff's Office says they will continue their search tomorrow for those 3 people who are still missing. Jessica?
Those residents have been through so much. Thank you, CB. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson now. Mike, heavy rain is still falling in parts of our state.
Jessica, we're under the monsoon flow, which is a typical pattern in July into early August. A lot of moisture coming up from the south over Arizona, New Mexico into Colorado. So scattered thunderstorms continue. There is a flash flood warning just to the north of Granby and Kremling over parts of Grand County until 9:15, just to the south and the west of Rocky Mountain National Park. We also have a small area that's under a flash flood warning that is just to the west of Evergreen along I-70. Locally heavy rainfall there. Even though the rains have subsided, a lot of heavy rain fell there in the last hour or so. And another flash flood warning that is down over southern areas of Douglas County and southwestern Elbert County, and that goes until 9:15. And still yet another one just to the west of Walsenburg. This is going to be typical for the next several weeks as we get locally heavy rainfall every afternoon and evening with that monsoon flow coming into Colorado. So the other side of it is still a wildfire smoke and ozone alert along the Front Range. So the headlines for tonight: storms ending overnight, mountain storms tomorrow, not so much on the plains. And it does look like our air quality is going to improve a little bit as we head toward the weekend.
Thank you, Mike. 3 different mudslides shut down Highway 125 in Grand County earlier today. This is on the north end of the East Troublesome Fire burn scar. Right now, CDOT has no time for when the highway might reopen. We have updates with the most recent flood warnings right now on the denverchannel.com, and you can get in-depth weather coverage for your area on the free Denver7 Plus app. Just download it on your streaming device. The DACA program provided a more certain future for 14,000 Coloradans, but now a federal judge ruled the Obama-era program illegal last week. It protected undocumented immigrants who arrived in the U.S. before the age of 16 from deportation. In 2018, DACA recipients and people eligible for the program paid nearly $32 million in state and local taxes. The federal ruling on Friday would bar future applications for the program, but does not immediately cancel permits for those thousands of recipients.
The judge's opinion makes clear that the Department of Homeland Security can accept new applications and can accept renewal applications, but cannot approve them.
The decision is creating turmoil for young people in our state. Here is Denver7's Addie Guajardo.
I was brought here in 2006.
More than 15 years ago, Jose Puente crossed the border from Mexico to Texas with his mother and 2 sisters.
My fear was getting caught.
He was just 7 years old when he was smuggled into the back of a horse trailer on a journey to Colorado.
I didn't know if we were already in the U.S.
A risk his mother took seeking a life filled with opportunities.
The American dream.
And Jose seized it. As a freshman in high school, he applied for DACA, a program that shielded more than 800,000 immigrants from deportation. Immigrants that were brought to the U.S. as children and met the requirements. It opened doors to higher education.
One of my goals is to become a professor.
This spring, he graduated from MSU Denver.
My major is sociology with a minor in communications.
He now helps first-generation college students like himself at MSU navigate the school system, where roughly 350 students are DACA recipients, but their future is uncertain. Last week, a federal judge in Texas ruled DACA was unlawful and suspended the approval of new applications. Immigrants already enrolled in the program, for now, can stay and work, but their future is in limbo.
After the announcement Friday, I was just, shocked, and I couldn't even sleep.
Jose's DACA application was renewed earlier this year, but he says some of the students he works with were shattered.
You're filled with a lot of thoughts. What's next? What can I do? What's my next plan? What's my next move?
A fear MSU is working to help ease.
I have these conversations with our DACA students and it will just break your heart.
The president of MSU's advice?
No one can take away your human capital. So stick to your program, get that degree. Sure, we have some uncertainty. We are going to fight like crazy.
A fight Jose hopes will cement a path of certainty.
We need a permanent solution for this issue, and we just can't be the bargaining chips from either the Democratic or Republican Party.
Addie Guajardo, Denver7.
Addie, thank you. Tomorrow, Vice President Kamala Harris will meet with 11 DACA recipients as the White House urges Congress to move quickly on immigration reform. Over the weekend, President Biden said he would open a Department of Justice investigation into the judge's ruling. Republicans have repeatedly claimed the DACA program is illegal. President Trump even sought to revoke the program, but that was shot down by the Supreme Court. To give you some more perspective, Governor Polis is doing what he can to protect DACA recipients, calling for nationwide immigration reform. Last week, he sent a letter to U.S. congressional leadership calling the nation's immigration community vital to powering the economy through the pandemic. And to dig even deeper, a new law is paving a path to higher education for Colorado immigrants. It allows all Coloradans, regardless of their immigration status, to obtain a professional license or certification in fields like childcare, education, and nursing.
Many different careers and professions that have this licensing requirement. So removing this is removing just a really big barrier for so many Coloradans who want to contribute those skills to their community.
It just makes me really happy and excited and thrilled to have a license to be able to do something in life.
Advocates of the bill say it will help diversify the workforce in Colorado and fill in demand positions.
He asked Libby if she knows me
and what am I to her? And then he asked what my mom was to her.
A Colorado family accused of human trafficking on board a flight.
The roles were changed, and it was a white person walking off the plane with a black person, like a black child. I feel like things would be different.
What the airline says led to the wrongful accusation, plus relocating to rural Colorado.
Let me put it this way. I bought a 15,000 square foot building in Trinidad, beautiful historic building, for less than my 1,200 square foot house cost in Denver.
As the world opens back up, many people are finding a reboot in small town America.
I think a lot of people reassess their lives during the pandemic, and they're doing it for space. They're doing it because a remote work economy is something that's possible.